Welcome to the Main Basketball Rankings podcast. I am your host, basketball data nerd Lucas McNelly, and Jay Baines is back because we're gonna see how dumb we are, basically. Prior to the tournament, if you listened to the Cinderella show, we went through each region and we picked Cinderella, and I thought, what would be easier than having Jay back on to see how we did? So thanks for joining me.
Thank you. Have you slept?
No. Yeah, I did. I slept for like 13 hours Saturday into Sunday, and then I slept like a normal amount of hours last night. So, I'm still exhausted.
Yeah, well, it happens, right?
Have you slept any?
Not as much as I wanted to.
Sure.
Not as much as it could. I've learned I'm really good at napping. Saturday morning, like I felt terrible Saturday mornings. Like I need to do something just to wake myself. So I went for like a quick run, and immediately when I got back, it's like 10:30. I took a nap. Like that's
nice.
And then I went to the cross center. So
the trick I learned this year is so on Wednesday. Let's say it was Wednesday, because I live an hour 15 from the expo. So Wednesday, I did the hotel room that I always do on the Friday night into Saturday because of the quarterfinals. And I think that made a big difference. Yeah. Just having that one night where I was able to buy like an extra hour and a half of sleep or whatever it ended up being. I think that was a huge help in me being coherent on Friday and Saturday.
I get it.
So that's my trick going next year is to do that.
You stayed at the expo during the double day Wednesday, right?
Yeah, because we didn't have the person we thought was going to do stats at the hockey rink couldn't do it, and so I had to pick between one of the venues, and I decided to go with the expo because I thought, well, that way we'll have a complete region as opposed to, and we'll just miss some of the girls' games. But I think the live stats were a big hit. I don't know what the feedback was up in Bangor.
I think we could have publicized it more. I had issues running him on Chrome, but for some reason I just had him on Edge and it was fine. Which honestly wasn't the worst thing in the world because I have a tendency to close every single tab open on Chrome.
Yeah.
So if I have it just on Edge,
I was using it on Chrome and I was having no trouble at all. But I was on a Mac, so I don't know if that's different. If that's an issue,
it's a lot different. It's 100% different.
But yeah, I just happened to see it up on a lot of computers. Just mostly media people.
Yeah. So, I think I saw a lot of people using it in post, running game recaps. So
that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, what was I going to ask you? Oh, yeah, I remember now. Okay. So let's start here. What was the best game you saw in person?
The best game? Recency bias is going to say Matawaska. Now, granted, There's also 152 points.
We were watching that score.
Most exciting game. Best game. I have to go. If you go double overtime,
right?
You got to go Camden Hills.
Yeah, I watched the end of that.
Balls. We had 7 jump balls. 3 were missed tosses. One was actually a legitimate tie-up at the beginning of overtime, but
that was those overtimes were in between 2 of our games, and so I had it up on I had WHOU up on my computer, and I had like 15 people sitting behind me, looking over my shoulder, watching this game.
And granted, and how many of them were Ararat fans trying to figure out who they were going to play?
I think that was the side of that were all Ararat fans.
Yeah.
So there was that. I think the best one I saw, I have 2, because I got a triple overtime game, the Lincoln Academy Yarmouth quarterfinals, which was awesome because how can you can't beat triple overtime?
Yeah.
But I think the best actual game I saw was Falmouth and Noble.
Yeah.
Was just an absolute classic, and that deserved to go overtime.
Yeah.
That deserved to go like 3 overtimes. And I thought it was going overtime because Jameer Rose had a shot to send it to overtime. He got a good look. And it just hit the back of the rim.
I noticed you omitted Oceanside Madonna Girls, which was
That was terrible. That was heartbreaking, um, and just awful, awful,
I
awful.
was in the office because we didn't start till 4. So I
Yeah,
had it on in the background on my office, and I'm watching it, and I synced up Don Shields to HOU, which
that's
was
what you got to do.
phenomenal. Which was just
Yeah,
phenomenal. It's just like, give me the guy who's been doing it forever and knows both these teams from like the back of his hand. Like, give me
yeah.
that, and it delivered.
Well, ironically though, they had WHOU had Larry Seidlinger and Phil Cohen.
Right.
So they do Madonna games all year.
Yeah.
So you've got that's one of the situations where they actually had probably the best people that they could have for that game.
Right. Yeah.
But that was just devastating. Okay, the other thing I wanted to go. Okay, so we have our Mr. and Miss Basketball finalists today.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen that?
I have.
Okay, so Mr. Basketball, it's Jameer Rose from Noble, who's going to win. It's Gabe Lash from Atomic Valley, and it's Wyatt Benoit from Thornton Academy. Do you have thoughts?
Cooper.
I don't think Cooper's eligible.
I have not seen Jameer Rose play. What I've seen online, I just, he's gonna do it. He's gonna be the first double Fitzy
Yeah.
Mr. Basketball. So, we should call him Mr. Fitzy.
Mr. Fitzy. My prediction was it was going to be Rose, Lash, and Leo McNabb. Because Leo McNabb was the AA player of the year last year. And so I thought, oh, well, that'll be the AA guy they choose. But I have no problem with Wyatt Benoit. He was really good in the game I saw. He was good in the game I saw in the preseason. Also a good football player. All three of them are good football players.
Mm-hmm. I noticed this because I was going through. I was updating a couple things. Just on that AA note, do we find it interesting that both AA number 1 seeds on the boys' side lost after a long layoff, 2 weeks off?
That's an interesting question. Yeah, it can't help to have that long layoff.
No.
But at the same time, so does the 1 seed in A has a long layoff because there's no prelim game.
Right.
They have that whole prelim week off.
I mean, the last countable day was what, the 6th, or it might have been the 7th. Let's just say 2 weeks. At least those 1 seeds in A, or let them
because they had the bye.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I got you. Because they didn't have the quarterfinal.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a problem anymore. Going forward.
Hopefully.
And then the girls' side, it was Ella Pelletier, who's probably going to win. Madeline Dupree. Did I say that right?
Depre.
I'm going to get this right eventually, or they're going to run out of kids. One of the two is going to happen. And then Lexi Morin from Brunswick, which I figured it would be Pelletier and Depre, and then I wasn't sure who the third one would be.
Yeah. Of course, I've seen Depre play a ton.
Mm-hmm.
Just being the North guy, I'm a little biased, hoping that she does get it.
Mm-hmm.
It couldn't happen. Phenomenal kid too. I'll tell this story. So like they were down in Old Town. We had the band in there for the doubleheader. I always tell the visiting teams, okay, this is how it works. I start the drums, I cue you, then I cue them, and we're in. Okay.
Right.
So we're gonna start the drums. Oh, we get drums, and I'm like, you don't get drums. We get drums, but I'm gonna tell you when to go. So, it's just fun to interact with kids like that. And that team is special, and obviously, they're gonna miss her. That program's in really, really good shape moving forward, and hopefully they play up to B.
Yeah.
At least they better.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. You've come up also with a point system for figuring out how we did. Are we we keeping track of this and see who won? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, I remember who I got. I don't remember who you got.
I wrote it down. Okay. All of them. So
we're going to go. Let's go 1 point if the team we picked made the regional final.
Okay.
You get an additional point if they won the regional final.
Okay.
And then an extra point if they beat the favorite. So
okay.
Total of 3. So if you, let's say, picked a 2 seed and they won and they beat the 1, that's 3 points. So
I got you.
I just want to I want to hedge a little bit just in case they won a regional title but had an easier path in because they didn't be the favorite. So
I mean, we could also do a thing where you get more points based on their seeding. Like if you pick the 2 seed, that's not as impressive as if you got like the 7.
Okay.
But I don't think any 7s won. Did they?
No. So
No.
let's modify that. Let's use that as a multiplier. Okay.
Okay.
So we'll use
What's the highest seed that won? Is it a 4? No. It's a 4. It's Biddeford, the 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, we can use the seed as a multiplier.
Okay.
So if you get 3 possible points and then the 4 seed, you get 12. How about that?
I like it. Okay, that's good because I got the 4 seed right. I got Biddeford on mine.
Yeah, I know.
This works great.
They were good.
All right, so let's start with girls. D North, I had Wisdom, and you had Skank.
Yep.
So
I had Skank, so Skank made it, so that's 1 point.
They made it to the regional final, right?
Yep, as a 4 seed, so that's 4 points.
Okay, and Wisdom got knocked out in the semis?
Yes. So that's an over.
Very disappointing. Well, off to a bad start. Yeah. All right, so then in D South Girls, Valley was the favorite. We both picked St. Dom's, and they lost to St. Dom. They lost to Valley in the regional final, so that's a wash.
So it is a wash, but we'll say.
But they were the 3 seed.
Yes, 3. So we each get 3 points. Cool.
I was surprised. How surprised were you? The Valley and St. Dom's scores. Were you surprised at all? The boys and girls.
On the girls' side, probably not so much. Just because looking at the previous scores, I mean that's a Valley team that's a juggernaut. I mean,
right?
They held their previous 2 tournament opponents to 12 and 17 points apiece. Yeah.
All right, and then I heard there was some not great stuff around the boys' games from the Valley faithful and the minority students, the minority players from St. Dom's.
First I've heard of it.
Unfortunate.
Yep.
That's what I won't say who told me that was happening, but someone trustworthy. All right, so C North, Penobscot Valley was the favorite. They sent me a shirt, which I don't have in front of me, but I think even if I put it on, it would blend into the green screen. But it's a nice shirt. It says Howler Energy on it. It's great.
Mm-hmm. I got a Lynx shirt.
Oh, nice.
And then I sold the Dexter Tiger, and I wore both. So I'm like, that's neutral.
And I just be on the record that I am willing to be bribed with any shirts that don't say Oceanside on them. And yeah, because it's fun to get shirts. And, we can't wear them to games with a press pass, but we can wear them in other places. And I'll probably wear that during the regular season sometime. Or to like a football game or something. Okay, so Penobscot Valley was the favorite. They won. I was watching that because that was a close game against Madnonacook. And I'm watching it from the hockey rink. And I'm like, geez, that's close. And then I went and looked later, and the model they were only favored by 3. So they actually covered. They won by 5.
Yep.
I think they covered every single game this year. So I had Mount View, and you had Madnonacook.
Yep. So I get 1 times the 2 seed, so 2 for me, and you get nothing.
Nothing. Mount View failed me. My Mount View strategy did not work.
I will say one of the coolest moments of the tournament was Lily Wooten being introduced after the injury on Thursday.
Yeah. So what happened with that? I saw the article and I put it in the newsletter, but I didn't read all of it.
From what I saw, collision, no foul. I don't believe there's a foul anyway. She hit her head on the floor, and it was just nasty and just she obviously not cleared to play,
right?
But the reaction just from the whole gym when she was introduced in intros was just really, really, really cool to see. So really, really classy by everyone involved, and she's their only senior.
Oh wow!
So they played that game without their senior, and so they're all
gave her a run for the money.
Mm-hmm.
We had a kid hit one of the Noble kids hit his head and was, I thought, like done for the day, and he came back in like 5 minutes later. Some of these kids are tough, or it's a playoff game and they're just going to
Well,
play
I
hurt.
mean, they're getting cleared.
I mean, there was a doctor, there was a trainer at least looking at him.
Yeah.
All right, so C South girls is Halldale was the favorite. I had NYA and you had Winthrop.
That's nope.
So we got nothing there.
No.
And that was in Augusta, so neither of us saw it. We don't really have nothing. But I know Halldale's really good.
Yeah, so Halldale has PV. So I guess you don't really. I guess actually you do have common opponents because who did Halldale Valley play? Who did they play in the quarter?
Penobscot Valley.
They had Central, Callis, and so they wouldn't have any common opponents. It'd be a double.
Probably not.
Yeah, it would be a common acquaintance, and that would be through Mount View. And I know Halldale beat Mount View. So
did Halldale play Mount View in the regular season?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. All right. Okay, so moving on to B North. Caribou's the favorite. They won it. I had Ellsworth and you had MDI.
Neither of them made it. Ofer.
But that Caribou, we talked about that Caribou team already. They seem to be a bit of a juggernaut.
Yeah, and they have options. It's not just Depre and Karen. I mean, the Corrigan girls, she's a freshman. Liv Adams is a presence inside. It'll be interesting to see how they do with the length of Biddeford. And we'll get into Biddeford in a little bit. But I think that game will be a lot closer than people may perceive. I think Biddeford is the favorite after seeing both teams.
The model has them. I've only run the girls model, but they're 1.3 points, I think.
Okay.
So that's pretty tight.
And considering I think anybody who's ever lived in Caribou will be in Portland on Saturday. Mm-hmm. If the hotels aren't booked already, then Caribou, I challenge you to fix that. I think I think it's going to be like it was in 2019 where these people fly into the Jetport for the weekend.
Yeah.
And they get two. So, I told you, offline, I'm just like, does Caribou outdraw the other 5 schools who are going to be in Portland on Saturday combined?
I think they do. And I just wonder if there's a way to track that. I know the MPA doesn't like it when wouldn't say they don't like it, but they feel it's worse for ticket sales if both teams are from the same school because it's one community versus 2 communities. But Caribou could probably challenge that.
Yeah. So Viking Nation, have a great weekend.
Yeah.
Make the most of it. I will not be in Portland.
Hydrate. You want to hydrate? Hydrate. Okay, B South, Spruce is the favorite. They lost. I had Biddeford. You had Oceanside. So we both got points here.
So I had Oceanside as a 3 from 1, so that's 3 points. Mm-hmm. And you had Biddeford, who won it and beat the favorite, so that's 12.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They won it and they beat the favorite. And they beat Oceanside, which is extra wonderful for me.
Yeah.
And that just awful, heartbreaking buzzer beater nonsense from Grace Mackey. What sucks about when you're close to a program and you're working the tournament and you lose in that manner, and then you got to there's another game that starts in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You've got to I could not tell you anything that happened in the first half of that Spruce Biddeford game.
Just
other than people just kept texting me.
Yeah.
Feel like, oh man, that sucks. That's the only thing I remember from the first half of that Spruce Biddeford game.
Oh man. Wow. Yeah, that was thoroughly entertaining.
So the little bit of backstory on it is the Dominic girls have been. My brother was the coach for years, and until very recently, and they've only been to one regional final in school history. The girls had lost, was it 16 in a row, 15 in a row, something like that, to Oceanside. They're bitter rivals, and So to win that game would have been the biggest win in program history, and they had it dead to rights and let it get away. So
let me ask you, because I
Yeah.
was in and out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Oceanside was up 11 in the first half as well.
They were up 11 in the first half, and then
Yeah.
Madomic went on like a 15-0 run, and they were up, and Madomic was up 11 in the second half.
Yeah. Wow.
And then they were up. I want to say they were up 6 with like a minute and a half to go, something like that. So yeah, so it's not great. But you'd kind of think in order to get over the hump like that, you kind of got to cut off the head. You can't, it's the movie villain. You can't assume they're dead, that they like just sort of went off into the woods and died quietly. You got to make sure, and they didn't make sure. So, but I don't think it was a mental hurdle. I was talking to Lindsay, the coach, and she's like, I don't think it was a mental hurdle. I saw her; she was coming out of a restaurant in between games, and she's like, they just didn't execute one or two plays, and then they had, the shot Mackey hit. They defended that possession for like 30 seconds.
Right.
And it was a terrible shot at the buzzer, and it just happened to go in. She banked it in.
Yep.
Those things happen. And then the question we were all asking was, and I was talking to Scott Bessie about this, is like, because he had the next game, I think, or the next set of games, and I was like, I think you foul up 3 there, and he made the point that if you foul up 3, it's not NBA players. It's high school kids.
Yep.
And you can't lose the game playing straight defense and not fouling. You can't lose it in regulation. The worst that can happen is you can go to overtime. But what if you foul up, you foul and then something stupid happens and then there's a rebound and they kick out and they hit a 3 and they score 4 points in the possession and then you lose in regulation. So there's that. All right, moving on. A North. Lawrence was the favorite. Everyone thought Lawrence was winning this.
Yep.
Holy cow. So I had Hamden. Hey, look at that. I had Hamden. All right. I almost picked Camden. Those were my 2 choices there. And then you had Coney.
I did have Coney. So I get nothing.
And so that was a great run from Camden there.
So you had Hamden.
I had Hamden.
So they won it, but didn't beat the favorite. So that's 2 points on a 3 seat. So that's 6.
And Camden beat the favorite. So
correct. I want to pull up real quick. Camden's roster, because I think this is a time to really dig into how friggin' good A North is going to be next year.
Yeah, I saw them a couple times. They're pretty good. I mean, they were missing some people in the middle of the year, and I think they got them all back or most of them back. And they had, who did I see them against? So I saw both their Madomic games. I saw their Oceanside game, and Oceanside beat them. Madomic beat them the first time, and then the last game of the season was Madomic Camden, and they really laid the smackdown on Madomic in the second half. And we all thought, oh no, what's wrong with Madomic? But maybe the thing we should have been thinking is, boy, Camden sure is figuring it out.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's what it ended up being.
Hold on. They had 2 seniors on their roster, and I just want to verify
who they are.
Well,
I can probably.
They played.
Hmm.
But regardless, I mean, that's a team that's made up mostly of a lot of freshmen on the roster, but pretty much a junior-laden club.
Yeah.
But as far, as it's slated right now, there are 7 teams that made the semifinals who are going to be in A North next year.
And then there's the fun stat where there are 3 defending regional champions who are going to be in A South, boys and girls. So then the question is, who's the defending champion?
Yeah.
Is it the AA school? Is it the A winner, or is it the B South winner? Because Biddeford is going to be the defending regional champion.
Maybe it'll just be like when you have disputed titles and spin-off
like
titles in wrestling.
Yeah, or like the old football, the old college football.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on. A South. Mount Ararat was the favorite. They won it.
Yep.
I had G&G, and you had Marshwood.
Yeah. Marshwood's an interesting thing moving into next year because they're the only SMAA school who's slated to be in Class B. So I don't know what's going to happen there.
So I get a point for G&G because they made the regional final. Got smoked in the regional final, but they made it. Mount Ararat looks really good.
3 seed.
They were the 3 seed, yeah.
Yeah.
But Mount Ararat looks really good and barely made it out of the quarterfinals. They were down. Right? They were down 17, I think it was, in the second half, or it was something like that. It was crazy, and the Westbrook crowd was awesome, and they came out and they hit Mount Ararat in the mouth, and Mount Ararat just was like, whoa. They were thrown. I thought they were going to pull it off. And then that's, sometimes it's small little things like that.
Well, what's the cliche? You have one bad game in a 3-game tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see this Ararat team on Friday night. So.
Yeah, that'll be fun. All right, AA North Oxford Hills was the favorite. They lost to Chevrolet, who you picked.
Yep.
And I had Edward Little. I picked the wrong Edward Little team.
You did. So you get nothing. I get 3 points as a 2 seed, so 6. So I gained a little ground back up.
There you go.
I from what I saw,
that was a weird game.
This is probably the most confident pick I had, I think, of
the Chevrolet pick.
Yeah. I don't know what the difference was in the heels, but
the game was ugly.
Yeah, it was. What was it? It was what?
It was 30. Yeah, 41-37, and it's just there was a lot of turnovers. The misery rating I think was 69, which is pretty high for a AA game. The misery rating, for people who don't know, is when I was play-by-play guy in college, the sports information guys came up with this rating. It's total fouls plus total turnovers. And so the higher the misery rating, the more likely you're just sitting there going, can this thing just be over?
Yeah.
I've seen it hit 100 before, and that gets real painful.
Yeah.
All right, and we've been thinking about updating it to try to figure out and incorporate somehow missed free throws or something, but I haven't come up with the correct system for it. Missed free throws and turnovers and fouls and I don't know, missed shots in general. I don't know. All right, AA South. South Portland was the favorite. They won it. Did you see the shot chart from that game?
No.
That I tweeted it out.
Hold on.
Let me see if I can bring it up here if it's on my computer.
I have live stats up. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull it.
I'll find it here.
All right, so I had Gorham, who made it as a 2 seed, so that's 2 points. And you had, who'd you have?
I had Thornton Academy.
Who didn't make it.
Who didn't make it. All right, so I'm going to bring it up here. There we go. So you can see this is, I tweeted it at halftime. I was like, the game plan in the second half should be, let's just maybe guard the circle.
Yeah.
And they hit more, and they just kept shooting from that one spot. And we were sitting there in media row just laughing our asses off. We're like, oh, there they go again. Wow. But it was very, very impressive performance from them. They looked awesome. All right, so that's girls. So where are we at on points here?
So I have, 9, 12, 20. And
okay.
You're at 3, 15, 21, 24.
Okay, so I'm up 24-20?
Yeah.
All right.
That's the girls' side, boys' side.
All right. So, boys, D North Skank was the favorite. I believe they won.
They did.
Amazing how much of a bubble. I had Katahdin, and you had Central Aroostook.
So I get nothing, but Katahdin was the 2 seed and didn't make it, so there's 2 points for you.
They got smoked, didn't they? 47-28. Yeah.
It was, I believe, 21-19 at the half.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So how is this Skank team? I haven't seen them.
Excuse me. I think it was 16-13, somewhere in that range. Okay. It's a 3-point game.
And they just poured it on?
Yeah, they as much as you can with 31 points in the second half.
Right.
I think.
Right.
Skank's big. Owen Wyman's I want to say about 6'4", 6'5" inside. Big.
That's a big boy for
D. Man, he's a man. Yeah, down there. So I have not seen St. Dom's play, but he's probably the biggest probably matchup night. Braden Osborne's a great guard. And I'm blanking on a couple names at this point. But
St. Dom's has that JV coaching advantage from Adam Robinson. So there's that.
And a great assistant in Graham Safford as well. No disrespect to Josh, but that's a great staff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Skank let up 39 points to Southern Aroostook, 36 points to Bengal Christian, and held Katahdin to 28. I think if 49, 52, 47. So if they're in that 49 range, I think it's going to be first to 50 wins. Yeah, and maybe even first to 45 wins. It's hard to say.
Did Valley end up, or not Valley? Did St. Dom's end up holding Harry Lewis scoreless? I saw that was in play. That was in play at one point.
He didn't have a ton if he had any. I was kind of just tracking it to get a score.
Because I remember seeing that get tweeted by the ACC MPA account.
Lewis, I was like, oh my gosh. In 31 minutes, went 0 for 6 over.
Jeez, that's a defense.
That's it. So yeah, I mean, it's just going to be defensive battle, probably somewhere in like that, in
that range,
first to 44 range. More like a Class A game that we've seen as of late. Not that run and gun that we've been used to seeing in Class D.
Right.
But we both picked Doms.
We did both pick Doms. Valley was the favorite. We both picked Doms, so we both get points there. So it is funny to me that twice on here we picked the same team, and that team won both regions.
The other one.
Wyndham. We both picked Wyndham.
Okay. We tried to avoid it on the girls' side, but I think we did.
Yeah.
Nothing slid.
All right, so in C North, Matt Knockhook was the favorite, and they won it, and they beat Madawaska, which is who I had, 81-71. We were sitting there watching South Portland stall away the third quarter, going, "Yeah, I think we're at the wrong game." 81-71. That, from what I've heard, the eighth grader Quinn Pelletier, right?
Here,
he had like 43 points.
43. He had 23 in the fourth quarter.
Oh my god!
Something ridiculous. It was unreal.
He's up for some Sports Illustrated High School Athlete of the Week or something. Yeah. There's like a voting thing. So if you see that, you should go vote for the kid, even though he's not in high school.
So who'd you have?
I had Madawaska, and you had Hodgdon.
Okay, so you get 3 points.
I get something there.
It's too bad. I think you're right. This.
All right, C South's Mount Abram was the favorite at 47%. Yeah. They did win it. There was some drama in that region with some flopping.
Yep.
So what? I'm trying to remember. I wrote the thing up. I'm just so tired. It all bleeds together. So the kid flops. Already had a flop warning. Flops. They call the flop. They do the thing, the little motion thing. Then don't do anything. And then because the kid's on the ground, he's behind the defense. And so when they get a steal, he's able to cherry pick and scores the game winner. Which is a rough look if you're a ref.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll like this. This is the side note. I went up to talk to one of the refs about something else. And one of the refs thanked me for posting the videos of the parents being idiots and not and did not give me grief for calling them Peter Webb All-Stars.
No.
So there's that.
It's a
what a time.
On that, it's you and I both know it. If you don't see the problem in it, you are the problem.
Mm-hmm. In the Peter Webb All-Stars?
No, in the parent issue.
Oh, yeah.
Dumb. Yeah. So sometimes the best place to find the problems in the mirror, as hard as that might be a pill to swallow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, we've talked at length about the amusement we've gotten.
I just love the people who are like, no, you don't understand. The calls were really bad. And I'm like, that's your takeaway? That the calls need to be better? Not that you're getting escorted out by a cop?
But, you were in Portland most of the week.
Yeah.
I was in Bangor most of the week. I was in Augusta maybe twice. But I didn't hear anything that was egregiously bad.
From parents?
Maybe the venues are bigger and everything's hidden, but...
It's easier to get lost in the venue because it's loud, and it's not a girls' basketball game in January.
I'll preface it. A lot of things get lost. When you're at the table, you do hear a lot of things, especially in a game where the free throw attempt disparity is 26-1. You hear a lot of things.
What game was that?
That was Mattanocket and Mount View.
Wow.
Yeah.
You get a lot of I heard a lot of call up both ways. People were mad about the student sections with the newspapers and
were they?
turning.
I was trying to find comments on that. Were they mad at that?
They weren't mad at the newspaper one. They were mad at the turning around one.
Oh.
On the face of this, people like piss poor sportsmanship. This is deplorable, and the AD should stop them. I just thought it was funny that no one was upset at all about the Madomic Panther reading the newspaper in the student section, but I think maybe it's because it was a cat video. People love cat videos.
I'll just say this. There are far worse places kids can be during school vacation week than at a high school basketball game.
Than at the expo, turning around.
Far worse things kids can
And I love all of that stuff. I think that stuff's hilarious. All of, anytime the student sections get salty, I think it's great. It's, they're engaged. They're having fun. It's no one's getting hurt. It's like absolutely no one's getting hurt other than these people who have like pearls to clutch. And, it's not even rowdy. Like they're not screaming obscenities at the other team.
At the expo, they're far behind the baskets. I mean, it's not like, they're in close proximity where they can reach out and, I know they tell the kids to go there. The best plot to be if you're on the visiting side at the expo, you can just go in the front row there where there's literally 8 feet between the front row and the friggin' sideline.
Yeah.
So I know they tell them they can't be there, but that's where I would go.
Yeah, I've seen that pulled off. But yeah, I think any of that stuff is great. I think it adds to the atmosphere. It's like I was telling the officials who I was talking to about the unruly fans, and I was like, you don't want the fans to be quiet. No. Because that's boring. Like, you don't want, like, golf claps. Fine play, smashing. Like, you want... Well, I said to one of the officials, like, okay, so correct me if I'm wrong, but if you make a block charge call, a 50-50 call, you want the side that didn't get the call to be mad at that moment. You just don't want them to be mad at every single call in the game.
There was nothing more fun than being at the old auditorium behind the basket when that fist would go up on a block charge, okay, and one side goes crazy, and then they go behind the head, and it just totally flips the other way. It was hilarious. Oh,
my gosh. So you didn't see this, but big call in a big spot in the Spruce York game. So York got called for like 7 charges, and they just kept doing it. And Spruce just kept taking charges. Ref blows the whistle, goes like this, and then goes to a block. And Scott Bessie nearly lost his mind.
Yeah.
And it was a charge. It was definitely a charge. But he's just like, you put your head, you just.
Right.
The guy's like, no, I didn't. And he's like, yes, you did. And he absolutely did. All right, where were we? We were at Mount Abram. So we're at DeCaribou now.
No, wait. Who'd you take?
Oh, for Mount Abram, I had Dirigo, and you had Monmouth.
All right, so I get 2 points.
You get 2 points. See, I almost cheated you out of points in the interest of moving things along.
Mm-hmm. All right, B North, Caribou, good.
B North, Caribou. Yep, that's how that worked out.
Did you? I texted you. It's like, did you please tell me you saw the end of this game?
I did see the end of that game.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I have it on my computer. I could probably. No, that's gonna take a while to upload. But that. Yeah. So okay. So this is the other situation of fouling because you have a foul to give, right? And so, and they're talking about it on the broadcast. I think it was Carmichael and I don't know who, but they were talking about you have a foul to give. So this is where you burn the foul to give. The game was tied, right? Yeah. 40?
Yeah, it was 40-40.
40-40. And so then they actually go to foul, but they wait too long and they foul them on the shot, which. Yeah. And so then he makes one free throw, and then Will Francis, right? Is the Francis that's still there?
Yeah.
With a half a second left, almost makes the full court shot.
Yeah.
Which would have been one of the most amazing things you'd ever see on a basketball court.
Well, I mean, I think, and I thought about this, I'm just like, wouldn't it be funny if all the years we hear about Mike Thurston and Caribou, if Caribou got Mike Thurston?
Oh, yeah. That would be funny. That would have been a really good spot to have the replay too.
Oh, I looked at it and this one's like, that would have gone off, and it was amazing. I don't know if the clock started on time, but
well,
he pulls it down and just chucks it up and back runs it. I think if he got a little more arc on it, it might have had a shot. But I think
there was
the angle that he threw it.
There was a buzzer beater in a Wells girls game where the shot was late, and it was in the quarterfinals, so they couldn't replay it yet because NFHS sucks. And I swear it was 1.6 seconds, and I swear to God the play took 4 seconds, just because the clock was that slow starting. And then it was still late, and I was like, it kind of looks late in real time.
Who'd you have?
Here? I had MDI, and you had Orono.
So I get 3 points.
You're rallying here.
I'm still down 4.
Which game was the one where they went to the replay, and then they called the foul instead because the shot was late?
Okay, going back, that was Wednesday morning. That was
a semifinal?
It was a semifinal. It was Wisdom and Central Aroostook. I want to note this specifically. They did not replay the foul. That is non-reviewable. They just went to replay to check if the shot, which was a good on the floor, was counted to see if that it counted, if it was a good try.
Yeah.
It didn't, but they still had the foul on the floor.
Right. And you could see it in the video. You could see the fist up.
Yeah. Right.
And the video, in real time, there was a foul called. They weren't, because I had someone messaging me. They're like, how could they add the foul? And why did they, in the replay, why didn't they get the travel before the foul or something? And I was like, no, it looks like they got that right.
The only thing that's reviewable is if a try is good at the buzzer. Okay.
You can also review if it's a 2 or a 3 at the buzzer.
Yeah, right.
And if you're in bounds on the really weird scenario where you could theoretically be out of bounds on I guess you're falling out of bounds. Didn't Marcus Smart make a shot once where he was like diving out of bounds and threw the ball at the rim and it went in or something? Yeah. Because Marcus Smart would make that. Something like that. But yeah, some weird nonsense like that.
I think of the Kawhi shot that bounced off the rim 4 times.
Oh, yeah. You could see if he's in bounds.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. So that's what happened. Granted, at higher levels of basketball, they do reset the clock based on when the foul occurred. But that is not reviewable here. So that's why it says
that's right.
Also, Public service announcement. If there's a foul and they go to the line at 0, the reason they put a 10th back up on the clock is to turn the red light off. That's the only reason, people. Okay? It happens all the time. They can't turn the red light off when it says 0, so they have to put a 10th of a second on it.
Why don't they just
a 10th of a second?
Why don't they just program it so you can turn the light off?
At least the ones in Bangor and Augusta aren't that way.
Oh, all right. That makes sense. Yeah, and 10th, you can't do anything with the 10th anyway.
Right, it's just there to turn the light off. That's it.
So there you go. The more you know.
Also, PSA to band directors. If there's a foul at the end of the quarter, timeout doesn't start yet. Don't play. That happened in our game.
We don't have any bands in Portland. We had like one band.
Not my band. I had to let the other band know.
We had some bands at AA. Had some bands at the hockey rink.
Bangor, we had Oxford Hills.
It was Oxford Hills. Oxford Hills had a band. Yeah. I didn't get to the Bangor one because that was the split day.
Okay.
Where I stayed
Those
at the
are
expo.
The two. It's the KVAC. Yeah.
There you go. Fun. All right, so let's move on to B South.
Yeah.
Madomic was the favorite here at 67.9%.
Was this the region we went co-favorites? Or did I pick
No,
York?
that's A South. You picked York, and I picked Spruce.
Okay, so
yeah. So then I saw little Nick DePatsy, who's reffing this year, and did a great job reffing. I saw him after the Madomic girls game, and he said, I think we're cursed, because he played, obviously, at Madomic. And then after this game, I saw him, and I was like, I would like to sign on to your cursed theory.
Yeah.
But York played a really great game. They had a really good game plan. They were very well prepared, and I talked to their coach afterwards. And, yeah, they played really, really well. They deserved the win. It's very disappointing for us Madomic people because that's the best team I think we've had in the last 20 years. Maybe.
Yeah,
maybe since Josh Nash was there, probably.
Right. Yeah, so I saw 3/4 of that. I thought, first off, the size and length in that game
of both teams, yeah,
was awesome.
Yeah,
and it's not like they were clanging and banging inside too.
Right.
It's just like, yeah. No,
that was a fun team to watch.
What was the score after 3?
It was
it finished at
close.
10, but
it finished at 10, and that was so after 3 it was probably 7. But then so what you missed in the fourth quarter is Bouchard fouls Gabe Lash hard. Really hard foul. His 5th foul. Gabe goes down. Is down for a while. Bouchard is not thrilled about the foul call and is expressing his feelings about it, because, we want kids to be able to talk about their feelings. But then sometimes we don't like it so much. And so he got a technical for conveying to the officials how he felt about the call. And so then he gets the tech on his way out the door. Lash finally gets up, clearly hurt. Like, I'm not making excuses for the kid. Like, he was holding his back, and you're like, is he coming out of the game? And missed both free throws badly. And then, so they're down 7 at this point. Misses both free throws badly. Christian Schumann misses 1 of 2 on the technical. And then, 30 seconds later, Lash gets fouled again, clearly not moving well, still, misses another 2 free throws.
Yeah.
And, that just took all the air. That it's just so deflating.
Right. So I was listening to it on my way back with Don Shields.
Don Shields was probably not enjoying that.
Well, it was really exciting when that all happened. So now you get 4 shots in the ball. Ooh,
yeah.
Okay. But yeah, what? Yeah, you make 1 of 6, 7-point game. The clock stopped. Yeah.
Yep. So they had a similar thing in the Madomic Spruce game, where Madomic was up, 5 or so, and then Lash hits a jumper, and Spruce gets called for a flop technical. But in this one, he's not hurt. So he gets the bucket. They make both of the free throws, and then Mason Wen hits a 3 on the next possession. It's like a 7-point trip down the floor and blows the game open. So I mean, it's like the exact opposite of what happened in the tourney. So the technical foul gods giveth, and they taketh away.
Right.
So
what's your you spend a lot of time there. It's only the second time I've been there. What's your opinion on the expo? It's
growing on me.
Yep.
It helps that I've learned some things. I figured out the Wi-Fi, so that helps a lot. Sitting behind the scorers table, I like that spot to sit. But it's kind of a pain because, as you noticed, because you sat there when you were there, it's a lot of people going back and forth behind you and bumping into you and all that. I like the atmosphere. It's loud. It's much better than the hockey rink. And you're right there with all the people, and that's kind of fun because people come up to you and say hi.
Yep.
And, that's very, I don't know what's the word. It makes you feel good because people are like, oh, I really like this and I like that, and blah, 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 blah. And so that's, that's always fun to hear.
Well, I had a very nice lady tell me how much she loved the brackets. So
yeah. It's sent my mother after you.
Yeah.
Because every time you're on the podcast, she's like, "Oh, I love him. He's so great." Yeah. And like, I love those spreadsheets. I love those brackets and blah blah blah. And I was like, "Oh, there he is. Go!" And then I ran the other way.
I know. It was great. She was so lovely.
Yeah, but you have people come up to you, and they're like, "Oh, thanks for your thing," and and someone was like, "And yes, you did pronounce my daughter's name right." And I was like, "Oh, good. It's usually a guess."
Yeah.
So it's growing on me. The parking is free, I learned. So if you're media, not if you're like a normal person. And I like the hotel that's right there that I can walk to. And so I'm starting as the expo is growing on me as I learn more of the ins and outs of the expo.
Right. I didn't get there early enough to get the free parking. That was all full.
Yeah. You got to get there pretty early, especially on a regional final.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the floor was straight this year, so that was good, or at least the straightest it's been. That's always nice.
They had popcorn this time. Last time they didn't have popcorn.
They didn't have popcorn. They don't make. I can't do gluten, and so they don't make anything that I can eat, which is tricky. But they also don't give me grief when I bring in food.
See, this is why you lost 6 pounds during tourney week.
Yeah,
and I did not.
Yeah, if you can't eat anything at the concession stand, it's really easy to lose weight during the tournament.
Well, the greatest thing, I didn't go to concessions in Bangor. They have lunch and dinner for $12, all you can eat.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I did that last year.
That's a lot of carb loading.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You just you grab 4 extra rolls and 2 extra Pepsis to bring out to the table, and you're just like, good for, whatever.
So the thing I did this year is I bought a bottle of Airborne gummies.
Okay.
And I had those with me. And so I went through the entire bottle during tourney week to try to fend off the post-tourney flu.
Yep.
And that so far seems to be working. But we'll see if I survive the state games. I'm going to need to buy more. But I think that was a good idea. And then I just survived on granola bars and coffee.
Yeah.
So there's that. All right, what are we up to? We up to A North?
A North.
Meso, favorites.
Yep.
And they won it. So they beat Hamden 49-37. And I had Camden and you had Brewer. So Ofer. But so Nolan, okay, so let's do this. Is Nolan Ames the Mr. Basketball frontrunner for next year? Had 38, I think, in the loss, including his 1,000th point.
I'm just trying to go around the horn right now.
And he's a junior. There'll be someone in Double A. Because there's always someone in Double A. And there was somebody else, someone said, oh, they're just a junior. And I went, oh. Huh. But I don't remember who it is now.
Well, I think the fact that we can't think everyone right offhand, I would say yes.
He's in the conversation at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've seen him a couple times this year, and he's awesome. And if you can get to your 1,000th point as a junior,
Yeah.
you've got a pretty good Mr. Basketball case. Especially if you have a big tournament game like that. Even in a loss, because that was what Cash McClure did. He had that huge game against Caribou, and that pretty much ended the conversation. And then there was, COVID.
Yeah.
So that didn't help.
Well, yeah, he got the game ball for the first 37 minutes of the game, and then Caribou got the game ball for the last 3.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So I mean, it might be Ames. That would be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's just. I mean, if everything works the way out that we think it's going to work out, obviously, Class A is going to be a hell of a lot tougher for next year.
Mm-hmm.
The Maywin, I think I'm pronouncing that right. From
oh yeah, Maywin.
Junior.
He's one of them is a senior.
Okay.
And the younger one, I don't know what year he is. Probably a sophomore. He looked really good, Maywin. They had a couple of alley-oops in that game, in that regional final against Wyndham. And, yeah, he was really impressive.
Yeah. I don't know. All this conversation about, like, hey, South's going to be so tough, blah, 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 next year if this goes through. And I'm just like, hey, no, it's going to be just as tough, guys.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. A North always tough.
Yeah. A South.
That was the co-favorites.
I know.
Noble and Falmouth, which was such a good game. I know I've already said that once, but it was everything you want out of a high school basketball game. Big shots, back and forth, bunch of lead changes. I don't think anyone led by more than 4.
Wow.
Something like that. It was really close. And not like that. Sometimes these games turn into rock throwing contests,
Yep.
Side note, have you ever seen, and this is more I'm telling you and more telling the 3 people listening, have you ever seen Documentary Now?
No.
Oh, you've got to see Documentary Now. So Documentary Now is from some of the SNL guys. It's from Mulaney and Seth Meyers and Bill Hader and Fred Armisen. And what they do is it's like a fake, Helen Mirren hosts this fake documentary show on PBS.
Yeah.
And so they make these fake documentaries that are spoofing real documentaries, and they get like real granular with it, and they'll like go and get the actual microphones that they would have used, and they had this I read this thing where they're like, yeah, we went to this microphone guy, and we're like, well, can we get this microphone? He's like, no, that's the wrong microphone. I won't sell it to you. So anyway, so there's there's one they do. It's set in Wales, and it's a parody of the When We Were Kings, the Foreman, the boxing documentary.
Yep.
And it's called When They Threw Rocks, and it's this Welsh contest where they're in a sheep pen and they have to collect rocks, and they throw rocks at each other until they knock each other out. And it's awesome.
I've seen enough rock fights this year.
Yeah. There's also a really good one that's a Werner Herzog parody where the Werner Herzog type character is in the Ural Mountains doing a documentary about something and also filming a CBS sitcom and at the same time, and there has like all these indigenous people building the set for the CBS sitcom. This is the best show.
Okay,
it's awesome.
Well, it gives me things to do because 7:00 rolled around today. I'm just like, I have nowhere to be.
There's no game to be.
I don't know what to do.
So anyway,
I'll watch UNC Florida State. I'm like, wow, these teams kind of stink.
Yeah, so anyway, the point was the Falmouth Noble game, sometimes in these big games, it turns into a bit of a rock throwing contest, and this was not that. This was just like high execution for 32 minutes. And yeah, the 2 best players in the game had awesome games. It was super fun. Anyway, so nobody's going to get any points for that because the co-favorites met in the thing. I had G&G and you had Greeley.
Yeah.
So I think both of those teams lost in the quarters.
They did.
Yeah, so we didn't do well there at all. All right.
You with G&G and Falmouth won the whole thing. So
yeah. I think they have 12 seniors.
Who?
Falmouth.
Eek.
Yeah. That game was so important that Halligan was standing for parts of it. And like trying to get calls. It was something. All right, so double A North, the favorite was Chevrolet at 61.9.
Yep.
And they didn't even make They didn't make it to the they got beat by Edward Little. And we both had Wyndham, who won it.
So that's 2 points as a 2 seed, so that's 4 points apiece.
And Edward Little beat Chevrolet, so they would have gotten that point.
Yeah, you were there for that one, right?
I was there for that, the semis and the regional final.
Okay, tell me about that EL Chevrolet game.
The EL Chevrolet game, now I'm trying to remember it. Chevrolet didn't look great. But Edward Little played really well, and McNabb almost brought them back. He had a big throw with under a minute to go that I think got them within 1. And then they were down 3. I think they were down 3. Did they lose by 3?
Yes.
Okay. So they were down 3 with... Right. So Maywin so we were waiting for Maywin to do something the whole game. He had a good game. I'm not saying not like he disappeared, but you're waiting for that highlight play from him. And he had up 1 with like 20 seconds left. He gets a steal, goes the distance for the huge dunk to give them the 3-point lead. And then Chevrolet comes down. McNabb takes a off balance 3 that a bad ref probably calls a foul on because he fell down. And then the ball goes out of bounds, and they have one more shot to do it, and Edward Little makes a defensive play, and they can't get the shot off.
Yep.
So it was pretty exciting. And then the Bonnie Eagle game was weird in that Bonnie Eagle looked like the better team. Like, if you had not known what the seeding was, you would have thought Bonnie Eagle was the higher seed.
Yep.
Yeah, so we both had Wyndham, who's really good. And they're kind of the 2 seed because I think Grady Dixon was hurt for like 2 weeks. And they lost 3 games in a row. That cost them the 1 seed.
1 to Falmouth, right?
No, they beat Falmouth.
Okay.
I went to that game. That was another really great game. Every Falmouth game I've been to this year has been really good.
Well, that bodes well for Friday.
Yeah, Davis Mann had 39 in the semifinals. Wow. And didn't take a shot from more than 6 feet away. All right, so last one, Thornton Academy in AA South was the favorite at 62.58. Wyatt Benoit is a Mr. Maine basketball finalist. Congratulations. They did not win it. South Portland won. I picked South Portland, and you picked Deering.
So I get nothing, and you get...
They're the 2, I think.
4. They won it, but they didn't beat TA, so that's 2 points.
Correct. Bonnie Eagle beat TA.
Okay.
They've got this 6'9" guy who blocked 2 threes in the South Portland game. But South Portland looked really impressive. That was a close game at halftime, and then South Portland went on this huge run, and then they just completely took the air out of the ball, and basically did a quasi stall.
Yeah.
And then I posted something on Facebook about it, and everybody got mad at me.
Yeah.
So did you see the thing I posted that everyone was yelling at me?
I did.
So I think this would work because, you're running this sort of stall where you're passing the ball around and the other team's chasing you around and whatever. And I think you just start calling travels. Little ticky-tack travels, call a moving screen here or there, and then just tell the coach, be like, hey, just maybe play basketball, and then we'll stop calling this stuff. I think that would work. I think you do 2 or 3 calls, and then they would stop stalling, and they would go back to playing basketball. And that makes me a terrible person. But you're a soccer official. Is that the craziest idea in the world?
No.
It would work. I'm pretty sure it would work.
Oh.
You might lose you might not get any good games going forward. But they might give you a state game for that.
Who knows? I mean,
Yeah.
I don't like to speak on assignments.
Uh-huh.
The 3 referees in the C North Boys Regional Final were Mr. Clark, Mr. Clark, and Mr. Clark. Someone's had a little too much fun with that one.
I heard Stax was announcing it.
Yeah, he drew that out. He just milked that like no. And I said to the guy next to me, I think TJ had a little too much fun with that one. So.
So speaking of.
And let me just say, Mike Bisson agreed. So
speaking of TJ, so we had the thing. I got clarification on. You remember the jersey kerfuffle in the Madonna York game? That was nearly a technical.
Yeah,
they almost did it. So what happened was Gabe Lash got blood on his jersey, and because he cut his finger, and so they stopped the game, and he runs off and gets a new jersey. And he comes back in, and then he's still bleeding. And so then they're stopping the game again, and we're all waiting around, and they're doing the 20-second thing. And then in the whole thing, Lash just sort of forgets to check in. But in his defense, they're doing it all in front of the scorer's table. So, and he's not the fringe bench guy. He's the best player on the team, and he's taking off his jersey and putting on a new jersey. So, I think he probably thought he was checked in. Or they at least knew the change. And so it was a whole thing at halftime. And then what I heard was that the determination was that, so we did it out in front of everybody. It's not like it was a number switched on the bench while no one was paying attention.
Right.
So, and it was a tie game. So why, you don't want to put your finger on the scale there. Anyway. But then Rocco DePatsy got blood on his jersey, so we had 2 different jersey changes in that game.
I know we had 2 blood jerseys in one game. We had 7 jump balls in another game later that day. We were just weird on Friday.
Yeah, and then they had the MPA got me a kid to spot Owen, who you met, and that was the only day he did. And so he's doing this game, and he's trying to do the numbers, and he's calling out the new numbers. And then I go, "How about let's just do Rocco and Lash." He's like, okay, that's better. Because I'm going to get confused. I'm looking at the things. But it's so much easier with the spotter, by the way.
On that note, we need to come up with the all-tournament name team.
Oh.
So let's put that out there.
Okay. Do we want suggestions, or are we...
Yes, we need suggestions.
We need suggestions. I think there's a Xander Steele on some team. I loaded in all those rosters, and I noted some.
Kalen or Carliglio.
There's someone on South Portland, the South Portland girls. She's like 6'2".
Mm-hmm.
But it's like a hyphenated name. Let's see if I can find it. Because I have the live stats up here.
I'm trying to find this. Okay, it's
Phaedra Goodwin Rossiter.
Awesome.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, some of these names are just great.
There's some impressive names.
So put that out tomorrow.
Okay. I don't know if the newsletter's happening tomorrow. It might be Wednesday.
Right. Fort Kent has Tobias Naranja.
Don't they have They have 2 Jeffers, right? There's like Aiden and Jaden.
Jaden, yeah.
That's always like you just hate the future broadcasters if you're doing that to them. Well, we had a while we had the Maxons, and there were 3 of them.
Yeah.
And they're all identical, and they would all wear numbers that were really close to it. Like they were like 3, 4, and 5, I think, were their numbers. And I'm just like, you're killing me.
We had one game. Oh yes, Mount View.
Oh, that Xavier kid.
No.
Oh, the Mount View boys have an Xavier.
No, hold on. Mount View, Callis girls quarterfinal. Each team had an Olivia Turner.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
That's super fun.
Yeah. So no,
Huh.
we'll put up. We'll take suggestions for the all name team.
I like it. I like it.
So you are the winner, 43-41.
Oh, that's close.
Yeah.
I like adding scoring to this. That helps. That makes it fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think we cap this off by a quick preview.
Do we want to?
The weekend?
Let's do. You want to do predictions for the goal ball games?
Sure. Why not?
All right. Let's do it. Okay.
Well, you've seen the model. I haven't.
That's true. I haven't run the boys model yet.
Okay.
And I've just briefly looked at the girls one and noticed that Biddeford was favored by 1. Okay. Yeah, I mean, they're super young. But I forgot to mention because I was complaining about Oceanside. That Biddeford team, I didn't run the numbers for the whole tournament, but in the quarterfinals, 89% of their minutes were sophomores and freshmen.
Yeah.
Which that's going to be a cool program going forward.
Well, let's make this interesting. Would they have won A South?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, Mount Ararat's really good. And has a lot of seniors.
And I'll go one step further. Would Noble have won AA South? Would they have beaten South Portland?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Although, did they play in the regular season? Hidalgo and Jameer Rose going head to head.
Yeah.
Would be awesome. Okay, I found it. I happen to have that tab up. Opening night, South Portland played Noble, and Noble won 67-59.
Okay.
So yeah, probably.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Did they play TA? They beat TA. So Noble did? I mean, yeah.
And Noble team was really good. They were a lot of fun to watch too.
So I mean, we're just cherry picking the 2 most successful teams that played down.
Right. Right. And then, I had a long conversation with some MPA guys about this, and because they like me now. And, it's for every Biddeford and Noble, there's the Wiscasset girls, and there's Massabesic and Deering and all these other schools that got relegated and were just competitive. Or even if by competitive, won 3 games or 4 games, and that's such a big difference. Because who wants to be on a team that goes 0-18 and gets beaten by 50 every game? Yep. Like, kids are just not going to play because that sucks.
And we didn't see a lot of it. I mean, Biddeford and Noble, granted, they kind of kept their schedules more or less.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Biddeford didn't play anybody in B until the tournament.
Well, neither did St. Dom's.
Right.
So, which is an interesting note. But then again, Skank plays a mixed schedule too, so I mean, that kind of washes out. No, but it's interesting to see. That's something that I know is discussions and.
The latest I've heard is that automatic relegation might be gone, and it's going to be kind of a petition down,
like football,
and make your case, because I always cite Nokomis. Because if we had the current system, we would have relegated Nokomis, and then Cooper Flag would have shown up. Mm-hmm. And they would have won B. Or they would have petitioned up.
Yeah.
Depends. But some schools petitioned, some schools said, no, we don't want to get relegated.
Right.
And some schools petition up. Doesn't happen very often, other than Chevrolet.
Right.
But it's been done before. Madomic did in the Josh Nash years. Yeah. And then, there's always the people going, oh, well, what if they might have won if they hadn't done that, but then they would have run into those Camden teams.
Yeah.
So it would have been, just as difficult.
It'll be interesting. I mean, you and I, we've discussed teams looking at playing up, and, it's Caribou. The one I heard last week was a Coney, potentially.
Is Coney and B in the new system?
Yeah.
I wouldn't put that past TJ petitioning up.
Well, I think it's a couple things. Knowing what's coming up through the middle school, The girls program is also in great shape.
They've got that 8th grader. Yeah, the coach's son, who's supposed to be awesome.
And I'm not going to speak on their behalf, but I can't imagine a trip to the auditorium would be, more, or the Cross Center. I said the auditorium, but Augusta's a shorter trip than Bangor.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they're kind of their home court.
Yep.
Sort of. At least red. This has been fun.
I think so. Yeah. All right. So let's the weekend.
Yeah. Let's pick some teams.
All right, Friday night, 6:05, Class A Girls State Final, Hamden and Mount Ararat.
I think this is going to be Mount Ararat. Yeah. I think Mount Ararat and Lawrence, that would have been a lot of fun. Yeah. But I think, Mount Ararat's got too many weapons for Hamden. I also happen to know that's the other score, the other model pick I looked at, and it was like 11.
Yep. There's no homer rule in this one. Give it the Broncos. They're so young. One senior in Kate Murphy who took over. Wow. Talking with Nick and just that senior leadership. Really, it's fun to see the economy of the whole thing. Like just, how she kind of willed that team and they kind of rallied around her. Talking with Nick Winchester post game on Friday night, he could not say enough great things about that. They're playing with house money. They are a year ahead of schedule. But it's funny to see her senior leadership and then see a freshman call timeout 94 feet away from the basket with 0.6 of a second left at the end of the third quarter. And just freshman mistakes. And that only left Hamden one timeout for the rest of the fourth quarter. Yeah. So
and the 2 overtimes.
Well, I mean, you gain one in each, but
yeah.
But I'll go full homer.
Okay.
Give me the Broncos. I don't want to say it could be. Yes, they're going to be very good the next couple of years. Mm-hmm. That division gets so much harder the next couple of years.
Yeah, Lawrence isn't going anywhere.
Lawrence is. Yeah, they are. It's called B.
Oh, are they in B?
Yeah.
Jeez, Provost.
Yeah. I know. Imagine how I feel.
Yeah. So I think that's Miss Basketball next year too.
Yeah. Oh,
I would think.
Yeah,
I would think.
Yeah.
All right. So the boys. What's the boys' game? The boys' game is Meso and Falmouth. There's no way I'm picking against Falmouth. This is their 800th state game, I think, something like that.
Yep.
Davis Mann is awesome. Burks is good. They've got a lot of weapons. They play good defense. I saw Meso in the preseason, for whatever that's worth, and wasn't that impressed with him, but it was the preseason. And should probably let go of that opinion now that they're in the state game after being the 1 seed. So I might have just gotten them on a bad day, or they were trying to figure out their new lineups.
They have one common opponent, which is rare for a state game.
That would be, who is it?
It's weird.
Because Meso played Greeley, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
So Greeley lost to Messalonsky by 2 on January 11th, and then lost to Falmouth by 14. And
right.
they only play. Why did they not play twice? That is dumb. That's so dumb. Those schools are 5 minutes away. You shared a football team. How did you not play twice? Anyway.
All right. Are you taking Meso or Falmouth?
I'll take Falmouth.
All right. You're writing these down?
Yep.
Okay. It looked like you were. All right. So then we got let's do on Saturday. Who goes first on Saturday? D?
B and D. Want to do the Bangor games? Let's just go to the Bangor slate first.
Okay.
B and C's. All right. So 1 o'clock. D girls, Central, Aroostook, and Valley.
Ooh. I think it's gonna be Valley.
Yeah.
Madeline Hill and Company.
Mm-hmm. I just don't know they scored 68, 80. I mean, they averaged 74 points in the tournament.
Yeah.
Central Aroostook gives up on average 40, 34, and 42. So about what, 39 points? 38, 39 points. But they only score what, 43, 35, 56, so somewhere around 40. I got to go back. Valley can score. I'm sorry. I mean, they can score.
They've got a bunch of different people who can do it.
Yeah. So, yeah, it might be the year.
Have the Valley girls not won it?
Won.
They had to have won.
Hold on, that's a different spreadsheet. The Valley girls last won.
I have so many downloads on this computer.
They've never won it. They've never won a
gold ball. God. Oh yeah. Then give me Valley all day.
One other note. I just want to pull up Central.
No gold balls. Look at that.
Yeah. I do want to pull this up just so I have it. I just want to Central Rustic's roster in front of me real quick.
And I have not seen Central Rustic, obviously.
Hold on, where is it? There it is. Yeah, no seniors.
No seniors. Jeez. Yep. So this is the prize of getting there.
It gets better. 2 juniors. 2 juniors, 3 freshmen, and they fill out the roster with 6 8th graders.
Oh, I remember seeing that. Yeah, a bunch of 8th graders.
Yeah.
Do the 8th graders play?
Let me see if I'm writing these names. Man, all these blend in.
Yeah, it's like at the end of the week, you're just like...
I apologize to Marcel. No, but Lily Burt, Harley Allen will lead them.
Yep, I recognize those names.
They're going to be good for a while. So,
all right. So then what, we have B with the Caribou, or we're doing Bangor, right? We're going through Bangor. Oh, we have boys.
Let's do the Bangor games.
Okay.
Skank and Doms.
Oh, I'm going with Doms because of Adam Robinson, who I seem to remember him saying he was going to get people some St. Dom's. I haven't seen any St. Dom's swag show up at my house. So there's that. So maybe I pick against him. I don't know.
This is going to be the rock fight.
You think so?
Yeah, I just think probably in the low 40s. Skank just plays great defense. It's really great defense. They've won 20 in a row now. They lost opening night to Katahdin. Then beat them like 3 days later. They played twice in the first 3 games. And then, of course, they beat them in the regional final. So,
right.
20 in a row. On a quote-unquote home floor-ish, at least before they've played on quite a bit. This is their 17th there in 2 years.
And St. Dom's just smoked Valley.
Yeah.
Which was a surprise, I guess. But then I was talking to people who had seen St. Dom's and Valley, and they were not surprised.
Yep.
So.
I'll still take Skank.
All right.
Sorry, Adam.
Oh. He's going to be pissed.
Can't always agree.
That's true. All right, what's next?
All right, so 7 o'clock in Bangor, Penobscot Valley, and Halldale.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Let me look at Halldale real quick. So what did they win? They beat Madison 36-25. They beat Winthrop 69-36. Yeah. Where's the other one? Beat Poland. That's Poland. Okay. Oh, only beat Poland by 6? Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm going to go Penobscot Valley. I mean, they scrimmaged Lawrence and beat them in the bye week.
Yep.
Which is nuts.
Well, I'll word it this way. They broke the Class C tournament record for threes as a team.
That's right.
In the semi.
Yeah.
Riley Moulton just went off in that semifinal.
She hit what, 9, right?
9. She had 9. And sometimes you can make the argument she's not their best 3-point shooter. That's Brooklyn Raymond.
Jeez.
Yeah, I think they got their test, and this is their moment. I think it's the Howlers. Yeah.
It does seem like it's their year.
Laurie Rowe and the Bulldogs, but yeah,
they'll be fine.
If they're hitting shots, it might break E. I just don't think Matanoka has so much size. Okay.
They have like. I was talking to Nate Case the other day. I think he said they had like 4 6-foot girls, or was that Penobscot Valley who had 4 6-foot girls?
No, that's Matanoka.
Jeez.
So that length, I mean, it kind of forces them. I mean, even to their advantage to play outside, but everything's a contested shot.
Right.
And you look at the score. It's. I don't think the problems that Matanoka gave Penobscot Valley, I don't think Halldale has the height and length to present those same problems.
Sure.
And most of it, can Halldale handle the press? Or press 32 minutes?
Yeah, I haven't seen Halldale, so I don't have a good read on them.
You go with what you know. I'll go with the Howlers.
I mean, I think you could make an argument they're the best team. I wouldn't say they're the best team in the state because the South Portland girls are really good. And
I'll make this argument. The athleticism they have per capita of a school of 130 kids.
That's fair.
Unmatched statewide.
Sure.
So, coming off a soccer state title, too.
Oh, look at that.
No. So I'll take the Howlers.
All right. So we're in agreement on that one.
Yeah. Matanoka boys take on Mount Abram. Mount Abram's first trip to the state game. Also St. Dom's first trip to the state game.
Oh,
should know
look at that.
And Mount Ararat. So which one? Ararat?
That was Mount Ararat's first regional title, boys or girls.
Yep.
Which is, like, good for them.
So I'm looking Mount Ararat, St. Dom's, and Mount Abram. 3 teams making their first trip. So, yeah, obviously Matanoka can score.
Yeah.
They can score. I mean, Mount View game of the best game, probably the tournament, that 51-46 game. That was a rock fight. 83 on Fort Kent and then 81 the other night. I don't know a lot about Mount. I saw Mount Abram play.
Okay.
I saw him play Mount View at the Civic Center 2 days after Christmas.
Okay.
They played right before we did the Nokomis Brewer game.
Gotcha.
And Mount Blue won by 2, something like that. And
I've only seen like the tape of the last minute.
Yeah.
Of the game, the controversial game. But I know they can score it. Both teams can score a lot in this game, so that could be a really high scoring game.
I think it's up and down. I wouldn't be surprised if they both crack 70.
Oh, that'd be fun.
So,
all right.
I think it's going to be a lot like that. Those Caribou Maranacook game.
Yep.
Where we thought it was going to be like 96-90, and ended up being like in the 60s.
Yeah. Because the lights get brighter.
Yeah. 21-0.
I'm thinking Matanoka. That's where I'm leaning.
So Mount Abram, the lone loss is to Monmouth, and they avenged that.
Right.
Wow. They beat Mount View once. 68, 63. And that's the only common opponent. And Matanoka also beat Mount View by 5 in the quarterfinal. Oh. First is 70 wins. I'll take the Lynx.
All right. So are we in agreement on that?
Yeah.
So here's what I'm thinking is, boy, the model's gonna. I haven't run the model yet, but the model's gonna have Mount Abram
Yeah.
because they were 11th overall at the end of the regular season,
Okay.
and Mad Knockhook was 15th. Oh, so maybe not. I just think. I just think Mount Abram. I didn't like how they won that semifinal. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and I'm just a believer in the basketball gods.
All don't lie.
Ball don't lie. Yeah, and I like this Mount Abram team. What little I know of them, I like their stat profile at least. But I'll take Mount Abram, so we're not taking the same team so many times. But and because the model will pick them, so I'll take the favorites.
Again, Madanawcook, a team, one senior.
Jeez.
Cooper McCarthy's a sophomore. True Weatherby's a sophomore. Andrew Oliver, he's only a junior. I'll take the Lynx. I won't be allowed back in town if it happens. I know too many people who work there.
Yeah. They'll never let you forget it.
No. And they give you a shirt.
Oh, well, then you have to take the team to give you a shirt.
Yep.
That's why I'm taking Penobscot Valley because, well, I think they're going to win, but also they gave me a shirt.
All right, so those are the 4 games in Bangor.
I'll be also taking Wyndham because they gave me a shirt. They gave me one of those Pat Moody shirts.
That's nice.
It's a nice shirt.
All right, Biddeford on the road to play Caribou.
Ooh. Biddeford in their first, I think they're in their first state game, right?
So as well, yes.
So the Biddeford team, super, super young.
Yes.
Model's going to have them favored by 1.
Yep.
I thought they were my preseason picks to win B South. They were my pre-tournament pick to win B South. And I thoroughly enjoyed every second of them demolishing Oceanside in the regional final.
I did not.
You did not, but
no. Well, no, I enjoyed watching them play. They're really, really good.
They're very good. Yeah, I think, but boy, Madeline Depre. Did I say it right this time?
Depre.
Steve Carmichael.
It's okay. It's okay because Dave Cheever will not get it right.
Is Cheever doing the game though, or is Rob Kennedy doing the game?
No. Cheever has the girls' games in Augusta and Portland.
Oh, okay.
I have inside information of the assignments.
What is Rob Kennedy doing?
Boys.
Okay. Cool.
With BL, I think for the most part. So.
Okay. Cool. Jared Richmond said he's going to be in Augusta, I think, or in Portland. One of the two. So I think Jared Richmond's doing something.
Okay.
I don't know what.
I think Brandon Terrell was in that mix as well. So.
Probably, yeah. Or maybe he's going. Yeah, so I'm going to stick with Biddeford. I mean, I've been picking them all year. They looked awesome. They're a lot of fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
The Silva twins are great. Jordan Crump is awesome. Yeah. Let's stick with the Tigers.
I'm going to disagree with you.
Okay.
Just because I just think it's sometimes you pick the story.
It's Caribou's year.
It's Caribou. It's Caribou's world. We're all just living in it.
If Depre has a huge game, can she win Miss Basketball?
Are the votes already tallied?
I don't know. Nobody knows. Nobody knows how it works.
Somebody knows.
Somebody knows. Not me. I have a theory on who some of the people are. Did I tell you the story about Gatorade Player of the Year?
No.
From last year?
Can we finish this pick first and then we can
let's finish. Okay, let's finish the pick.
So the B games are true neutral sites. Okay.
Yeah.
Neither team has played on that floor. I could make the argument that Caribou played on that floor back in 1984, but no one was alive, and I don't think their parents were alive either. So
right.
Sometimes, and now we're just speculating. When you have a team as young as Biddeford,
Yep.
If shots aren't falling, I don't want to say they're going to unravel, but I
They
think
might get squirrely.
It's just gets squirrely.
Yeah.
I'm really interested to see. I'm not trying to go super hyperbole here, but it will be a Caribou home game.
Yeah. All of Caribou
going
will be
to
there.
be a Caribou home game. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone from Caribou will be there. The Caribou Band will have the anthem. Beautiful rendition of the national anthem, arranged by Steve Smith. Buy it, band directors. I won't because I like mine, but other band directors should buy it. Anyway, but I always say, when you put kids in a position where things are familiar, okay, momentum is a thing. Okay.
Yeah. Especially in high school.
And especially the way the Civic Center is set up. The benches are looking across at the visiting side. Okay. And you're looking across to 4,000 people from Caribou, all in maroon. And even if they're empty seats, the seats are maroon.
All of them drunk. Most of them drunk.
It's 1:00 in the afternoon.
I was at the last Caribou game there.
I know, we were both there. Yeah. If you get Depre in foul trouble and you get Karen in foul trouble, that's going to be, you get them off the floor if they're not playing 32 minutes. I just can't, as good as Biddeford is and as good as they will be, I'm going to take the senior. Okay?
That's fair.
I think
I wouldn't be surprised if Caribou won it. I'm sticking with.
Yeah.
I've been riding the Biddeford train.
Yeah.
All year. I'll stick with it.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I guess I'll pick the underdog Vikings. And you said 1 point.
It's like 1.3, I think. Something like that.
Weird things could happen at that point.
All right. So the Gatorade Player of the Year thing.
Yes.
So last year, Adam and I were on the podcast and we were complaining about how opaque the process is for Gatorade Player of the Year, just like Mr. Basketball and Miss Basketball. And we're like, who's deciding this? What is even the process? And I had emailed someone at Gatorade and they were like, we don't answer questions. Some like real dickish response. So we're doing the podcast and we're complaining about it and whatever. And then I go look at, you know how on Twitter you can have the messages that you like of people you don't know, and it's like, but it's not a screen you see right away. Right. So like a couple days later, I'm going through there and I'm clicking. I happen to go in, and I kid you not, the guy from the Gatorade Player of the Year committee asking me what I think about certain players. And if they're missing anybody in their deliberations. But he'd emailed me or DM'd me like 3 weeks ago. And I just never saw it. And so I was like, oh, well, that's how they decide. They talk to coaches and they talk to media people in the state. And they get a list of people and they go, and they just start canvassing the state and go, oh, what do you think? What have you heard this person? What have you heard about this person? What have you heard about this? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Interesting.
So I just thought that was funny.
Where are we now? B-boys.
Okay.
York and Caribou.
York and Caribou. So York looked awesome. I'm not fully processed this because I had already worked through the Madomic Caribou scenario. You know.
Right.
If Caribou can get Bouchard in foul trouble, that could be a problem for York. But York is, I mean, you saw them. They're very long. They're very fast. Yep. I thought it was interesting in the Madomic game that the game was played at Madomic's pace.
Yeah.
And they had no problem adjusting to that.
Yeah.
And they played very well in the first two games at their pace, which is much, much faster.
And I think that's going to be the pace that we'll see.
I think that's the pace Caribou will play, yeah.
Yeah. So they're both, maybe Caribou isn't as big as York.
So you've actually seen both of these teams in the playoffs.
Yes. Yeah.
How is Caribou's defense?
They can. I think you got to look at the Orno game, and I wasn't there, but
yeah, I'm just wondering what happened in the Orono game because it was in the 40s or 41-40.
Yeah,
but Orono in a tournament
6.
game,
yeah,
were they down 6?
Yeah, Caribou was down 6.
Orono in a tourney game though is a different beast.
Yeah.
Let me. I just want to see something. If there were a lot of turnovers or something. So yeah, that's Caribou had 15. They each had 15 turnovers.
Okay, what did Caribou shoot from the field?
Caribou shot from the floor 34%, and Orono shot 40%. And the free throws, they were 6 of 11 from the line, and Orono was 2 of 3.
Okay, and Caribou lost the rebounding battle. That doesn't actually surprise me.
But only by 1.
Yeah.
I
think, maybe it's a little more like, the Madomic York game, where the game was played at more of that, where Madomic wanted it. The game was clearly played where Orono wanted it. Or Orono wanted it to win.
Right.
I've seen recently a very good York team that everyone picked and everyone thought was going to win. Went ice cold first stretch. And lost.
Different coach.
Much different coach. Yep.
Because this is the first year for Matt. I think it's Regan.
Yep. I believe so.
And they were very well coached in the tournament in all 3 games.
Yeah.
I just liked how versatile they were. They played Spruce at Spruce. They took Spruce out of their game. They took Doer. They really neutralized Doer. They neutralized Mason Wen, in the Madomic game, which was very smart. And then who did they have in the quarters? Oh, they had Cape. They smoked Cape in the quarterfinals. But Cape had a 10 seed.
I will have to look back at the tape. I want to see who had the defensive assignment on Cayman Sargent, who Robbins had 17. Robbins is their top option, but they contain everyone else. I mean, Belandro had 8.
They held Will Francis to 10.
They did
for whatever that's worth.
Soderberg, but Soderberg hit.
He had 13.
He had 13, but wait a second, I need to expand that. 3 for 7 from 3. But Cayman Sargent holding him to nothing is, I would get, maybe it was Noah Schaff who was on it, but I can't imagine if the game is played at the pace that either team wants, that Cayman Sargent's not going to score any points.
Right.
Man, I think it'll be the best game of the weekend.
I could see that. Wyndham South Portland might be real good too.
True. I guess I don't want to say going from the heart, but I'll go Caribou again.
All right.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go York.
Yep.
And I feel like a lot of these, I'm just picking the team I saw.
Yeah, and same. I mean,
but that's whatever.
Yeah.
So what does that bring us to? That's through
Double
B.
A's.
Double A's
left. South Portland Chevrolet girls.
So South Portland was really impressive. All shooting from one spot on the floor.
Right.
What was the name of the Whitmore? I think I was really impressed with her. She gave me. No, I don't want to say that. She gave me vibes of a recent standout AA player. Yeah, Annie Whitmore. She had 18 in that game, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. And what did she shoot? She was 4 of 6 from 3.
Yep.
So she was good. And then Maya Lawrence had a big game. She was 3 of 5 from 3. She had 12 points.
What's
And
the
then
seniors?
Emma Travis had 23. No, I'm sorry. That's plus minus. Emma Travis had 10. Maya Lawrence had 11.
Okay. So these teams split.
Okay.
South Portland won Cheverus won the first matchup by 10 at home. South Portland won at 12 at home late in the year. So
South Portland comes into the tournament 6th overall in the power rankings. Cheverus was lower than that.
Yep. But comes into the tournament. How does that? Where are they now?
Oh, I actually ran that, so I can check. Overall, is that girls? So right now, Oxford Hills is still first because they just had that much of a lead.
Yep.
South Portland is 5th, and where are they? Oh, Cheverus is 6th. So that's going to be...
I don't know.
South Portland's going to be a slight favorite in this. I'll pull it up. South Portland's favored by 1.4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Cheverus won last year, right?
Yeah. They're the defending champions. Because they had the 2-time Gatorade Player of the Year.
Yeah, she was pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, she had her moments, you know.
She was good. So South Portland, they lost.
They haven't won it since 1986.
They beat Stearns.
Did they really?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
That's amazing.
South Portland did lead Double A in plus minus or point in differential, for what it's worth.
Beat Lewiston by 28.
I think
by 12.
I think I'm gonna go Cheverus. Because here's my thinking. I think Cheverus will guard that red circle.
Yeah.
You know, they were impressive against Oxford Hills, and then it's the same. I mean, it's the same floor. I just don't know that I think South Portland's going to shoot that well from 3 again, because they were shooting 70% at one point in that game.
Here's my question on the shot chart, specifically in that area. Is it so precise that you can see which shot was behind each of the 4 lines?
It's not that precise, no. But they were just lining up the same spot, just that elbow extended, you know, just draining them.
There's 4 lines on that floor.
It's so weird. It's such a weird floor. You'd think they'd repaint it or something.
Well, considering one of the lines isn't even used anymore.
Right, yeah, exactly. There's 2 restricted circles on that floor.
You have it, so the red line, the grain, well, to move your left shoulder just to move to your...
Oh, yeah, that's right, because we can see the lines here.
So the red line is the old college line.
Uh-huh.
So, and the black line is the line they forgot to paint the first game they had there, because everyone's just like, where's the high school 3-point line? So they had to tape it that first night.
Yeah.
And
they've got this green sticker thing too, which is kind of weird.
That's just an ad, right?
Yeah. And they've got, I don't think you can see it. No, you can see it on my other shoulder. They have 2 restricted circles.
Yeah, one is the old college one that they haven't taken up yet. They used to do the 6-foot one.
Yeah, they should probably just repaint this floor.
Who did you take?
I'm taking Cheverus.
I'll take South Portland.
Because I just don't know that South Portland's going to shoot that well again.
I don't know.
But they're really good. I really liked watching South Portland play.
All right, last one. Wyndham, South Portland.
Okay, so Manny Hidalgo was awesome in the regional final.
Yeah.
He was pretty much the whole story. Him and Darius Johnson. Wyndham, they're the defending champs. AJ Moody is really good. Crady Dixon is really good. Although I don't know that he was healthy in the semis. I'm just speculating. He just seemed off to me, but then he was great in the regional final. So Wyndham in that regional final. So they, what were they up like 4 or 5, and they just couldn't make a free throw to save their lives.
Yep.
And we're all just sitting there in media row going, what is happening? And, then I was talking to the Wyndham coaches afterwards, and I was like, when was the last time you saw a team win a game where they missed that many free throws down the stretch? And they're like, I don't know. Because last year they made all their free throws. I think they set the record, the double-A record for most free throws made in a tournament or something like that. One of the records. And then they just were missing everything. And it was good free throw shooters. So it was just weird. I think I'm going to go with Wyndham.
Okay.
Because I think they got all the free throw misses out of the way, for one. And I think they're a more complete team.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if they can manage to shut down or slow down Manny Hidalgo, who I thought had maybe played himself into the Mr. Basketball finalist list in that regional final, but I don't know if the votes had already been tallied for that. Yeah, so I think Wyndham can win this game.
Okay. Now I'm going Wyndham.
You're going Wyndham?
Yeah.
Well, you picked him in the Cinderella thing too, so
exactly.
I just think they're also. I think they're a team that Dixon was out, and they lost those 3 games in a row. Yeah. And I think if he's not out, if he plays in those games, then they're. What were they on the regular season? Did they lose 4 games?
5.
Something like that.
14-4, yeah.
14-4. So I mean, they could easily be 17-1.
Right.
And then it's a different. We're looking at them a lot differently if they're 17-1 and the 1 seed, and the number 1 overall seed.
South Portland won the only matchup at Wyndham, 55-54.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Yeah.
And that was in the midst of their being healthy. That was before the Falmouth game.
Yes.
Yeah, so this should be pretty close, I would think.
It's a crapshoot for me. I'll go Wyndham.
All right.
Again, sometimes I'm picking stories, and I think do it for Pat Moody.
Pat Moody. There you go. Do it for Pat Moody. All right, so that's all. We have all the picks, and we've been doing this for nearly 2 hours.
Yep. What else is new?
And here I thought this would be quicker. All right, so are you gonna be in Augusta?
I'll be in Augusta and Bangor.
All right, I'm gonna be in Augusta and Portland. So I will see you in Augusta.
Awesome.
And then we'll do this again, and we'll see how we did on our gold ball picks or something.
And then we can complain about other things.
I like it. Sure. All right, I'm gonna do the readout thing, and we'll wrap this up. This has been a production of MaineBasketballRankings.com, your source for the most comprehensive coverage of Maine high school basketball from Ashland to York and everywhere in between. This podcast is available wherever you listen to podcasts and in a bunch of places you don't. If you enjoy it, please leave a nice review. If you see either Jay or I at one of the games this weekend, come up and say hi, especially if you're my mother. But if you leave a nice review, it helps out with algorithms and all that other nonsense. Tell your friends, tell your enemies. Thanks for listening.